Scorecard development and Spider Impact can be made easier by using copy, templates, and rollups. I'll start by selecting Scorecards, and then expand Mobile World. See, there's a sales organization, which contains a large number of regions beneath it. US is broken down the most, with East Coast and West Coast divisions. And if I expand East Coast, I'll see Northeast and Southeast. At the very bottom of sales is a sales template org. To build up the sales organization, this template was leveraged to create all the various regions so that they were all identical. To review this in more detail, I'll select Sales Template and then click Select. Reviewing the structure in more detail, I see that there are two themes at the top level. Beneath that are KPIs, and in some cases sub-KPIs. I'll click on Product Sales Revenue, select Edit, and scroll up. I'll see that this template org leveraged the concept of template rollup, so that when data is loaded at a level like Northeast, values automatically sum to East Coast, then to the US, and then to the sales parent. I'll now select Done. Under Presentation, if I select Dashboards, I see that there are 4 dashboards, and if I click on Charts and Reports, there are 2 reports. And these are all tied to this sales template. At the top, if I select Africa, and select Scorecards, I see the exact same structure with 2 themes, KPIs, and sub-KPIs. The only thing different is the inclusion of Africa as the suffix. If I click on Dashboards, I'll see the 4 dashboards. In Charts and Reports, I'll see the 2 reports. All of these items came across automatically from the Sales Template org. With that as background, I'd like to create a new organization for Europe based on the Sales Template org. At the top, I'll select Sales Template. I'll then select Edit at the bottom. I see that I have 2 options to copy an organization. The first option is Copy, which will copy the scorecard structure and all the presentation objects for that org. This option creates a completely distinct organization. Any future changes to the original org will not be reflected in the new one. Since that is what I want, I'll select Copy. I'll accept the default at the top to just copy the top level, and I'll change the organization name to Europe-Copy. Next, I have the option to select which components of the original template I wish to copy over, like owners and updaters. This is something I would need to think through carefully for each org, but for now, I'll leave each of these unchecked. Note that threshold values applies to thresholds that have been added to a specific period. Thresholds that are defined at the KPI level will automatically carry over, regardless of whether or not this box is checked. Since I want the new organization to be directly beneath sales, I'll select that in the middle. I'll then select Copy and wait for that to propagate. The second option is Copy as Template, which will again make a copy of the scorecard structure and presentation objects. However, unlike the Copy option, any future changes to the original org will be reflected automatically in the new one, creating an ongoing connection between the two. Once again, I'll select the Sales Template. This time I'll select Copy as Template. With this option, a key thing to note is that up at the top, There is a blue banner warning that any future changes to the org structure, scorecards, dashboards, and reports will affect the new organization. Since I'm okay with that, I'll move on. I'll accept the top left option again. I'll leave the synchronize options blank, and once again I'll select sales in the middle, and then click next. I'll change the organization name to Europe, copy as template. With this option, I have the ability to add a prefix or suffix to the new org for its scorecards, dashboards, and reports. To be consistent with the other sales orgs, I'll type Europe as the suffix. And I'll do that for each of the options here. When I'm done with that, I'll select copy. Next, I'll look to test things out. I'll click on Europe Copy and choose Select. I'll select Scorecards and verify the scorecard structure looks as I'd expect. If I expand the structure, I'll see that I have themes, KPIs, and sub-KPIs. If I click on product sales revenue, I'll see that the thresholds that were defined at the KPI definition level have come over, but the actual has not. I'll then select dashboards and charts and reports and verify that those objects came across. I'll note that they are blank because I haven't yet loaded any European data. I'll then select Europe Copy as Template. I'll select Scorecards, verify the scorecard structure looks as I would expect. I'll then select Dashboards, Charts and Reports, and verify that those objects have come across. Once again, everything is blank because I haven't yet loaded any data. So I have two structures, one that is living independently of the original template and one that is permanently tied to it. Next, I'll illustrate that any future changes made to the template will have no impact on the copy structure, but are carried across automatically to the template structure. I'll go back to the sales template, select Scorecards. I'll then select New Scorecard Item. I'll type Discount Card Sales as the name, ensure the type is Generic Item, and then select Create. I'll then click on it and select New Scorecard Item. I'll type Number of Cards Sold for the name, change the type to KPI, and then scroll down a bit to the series section. I'll change actual value, red flag, and goal to all be template rollup. I'll then address what should occur if there are missing values. I'll keep my default of treat missing values as blank to avoid having to populate entries for this KPI across the entire sales org structure in order for a total to appear. I'll then set the red flag to 100 and the goal to 200. Next, I'll move back up towards the series section and see that once I've populated items at the bottom with the value of template rollup, a new section called Template Rollup Equation has appeared. Since this is a numerical KPI, I'll leave the default to have the number of cards summed as I work my way up the sales tree structure. To the left of that is the aggregation type, which controls how values are handled when I switch from monthly to quarterly to yearly in the top right. I do want this to be summed, but one thing to note is that if I did change the aggregation type to average, the product would automatically change the template rollup to average as well. I could then change that back to sum and ensure that both are switched back. At this point, I'm now ready to select Create in the bottom right and then select Done. The question now is, what is the impact of that change? If I select Europe Copy as Template, I'll see that the new generic item and KPI have come across automatically. However, if I click on Europe Copy, the new generic item and the KPI is absolutely nowhere to be found. So this is behaving as I would expect. The copy structure is completely independent of the structure that I made the copy from, while the copy as template structure contains an ongoing link to the original structure. Getting back to the idea of rollup, I'll load some actual values for the new KPI I created to see the impact of that. I'll select Northeast underneath the US. And then select the new number of cards sold KPI. I'll click Update. I'll load a value of 300 for June, and then click Save. I'll then select Southeast, select the KPI, select Update, and load a value of 200, and select Save. If I switch to East Coast, select the new KPI, I'll see that even though I didn't load an actual value directly to this org, it is coming across. It is taking the value for the Northeast, adding the value for Southeast, and providing a grand total of 500. If I hover over the 500, it shows me that it's summing two KPIs, and if I click on that, I can actually see the math. 300 is coming from Northeast and 200 from Southeast. With that, I'll select Close. Now, if I go up to Sales and select the new KPI, I'll see the same number of 500. However, if I hover over it, I'll see that it is intending to sum up a number of different KPIs, not just Northeast and Southeast. Once values are loaded for Northwest, Southwest, etc., that total will grow. The last thing I'll do is go back to Northeast. Click on the KPI and change the periodicity up at the top right to yearly. Because I set the aggregation type to sum, it simply adds those Northeast values up to provide a total. Since I've only entered one data point, the value would be the same as the monthly level for June. In this case, 300. The next topic is expanding new organizations that were built via copy as template. New structures are not locked into what the original template contains. New items can always be added after utilizing copy as template. For instance, going back to sales, there is a value of sales and number of sales which came from the original template. Discount card sales also came over, which I just defined at the sales template level. But what is also here is sales pipeline, which was not part of the template. It was something that I just wanted at the top level of sales and so it was added just at that level. If I were to select any other organization like Africa, I would not see sales pipeline. The last thing I'd like to determine is what happens if I need to edit anything that came from copy as template. If I select Europe copy as template, and then the KPI, and then select edit, I'll see a note that this KPI is based on a template and that only some of the settings can be overridden. If I select KPI settings, I can switch from use template to override template. But just as the note warned, some items can't be changed, like aggregation type. Under actual value, template rollup is also grayed out. However, I can change how missing values are treated. The default value for the red flag and goal can also be set. For in this case, just the Europe copy as template org. At the generic item level, I can select advanced options. From here, I can choose override template and alter the start and archive dates.